Hello and welcome to my channel Happy Hours. In my last video, I discussed about the independent judiciary and accountability, difference between the accountability and responsibility, types of accountability, about the social accountability and about measures, principles of social accountability. In this video, I am going to discuss about the social audit as a mechanism of social accountability, the origin of social audit, its need, and issues and challenges with social audit. So, what are we waiting for? Let's jump to the first topic, which is the mechanism of social accountability. Social accountability is the participation of citizens in the bureaucratic process. This leads to bureaucrats to be accountable for their work. The social audit is the mechanism of the social accountability. It is with the discussion of social accountability. The relationship between the social audit and social accountability is that it is the mechanism of social accountability. Audit done by the people on the government's policy or on the governance. It is different from any other forms of audit. Constitutionally speaking, if there is a question that under the provision of Constitution of India, what exactly is the mechanism of audit? The answer is there is an institution mentioned, that is the Comptroller and Auditor General, which says that there should be one institution, which is institution of CAG or Comptroller and the Audit General. And this institution is responsible for taking up audit for the different government accounts. However, social audit is different from the audit mentioned in the Constitution. Audit mentioned in Constitution is for two reasons. First, who conducts the audit? That is, we all know, is the Comptroller and Auditor General. Whereas social audit is not that. Here, audit conducted by the people themselves. Here, it is not done by any institution, as there is no separate institution created for it. And then secondly is that what is the ground of audit? Primary basis of audit done by Comptroller and Auditor General is purely the finances, means focus is on the money or the finance. Whereas social audit is financial as well as for non-financial matters. Audit is done by the third party always, cause there will be a manipulation if the office is involved. But social audit is done by the beneficiaries or the people themselves. We can summarize as the social audit is the public assembly where all the details of a project are scrutinized. It is a way of measuring, understanding, reporting, and ultimately improving an organization's program and social and ethical performance. To understand social audit in detail, we have to understand the two terms, that is the public assembly and the social ethical performance. Now let us understand these terms one by one. First one is public assembly. The concept of public assembly should be considered as the soul of the process of social audit. We can understand this with an example. If we look at Manrega, this was the law where social audit was statutorily or legally introduced in the process of governance. In Manrega, there is a section 17 of law which says that Gram Sabha will conduct social audit. Under the law, public assembly is Gram Sabha, and generally we will find that it is through this public assembly that the audit process is performed. Gram Sabha is institution of direct democracy in India. Every village is having the institution called Gram Sabha. It comprises of any individual who is registered voter from that village. So we can say that they are all the member of Gram Sabha. So the Gram Sabha, which is the public assembly, is responsible for scrutinizing, reporting, understanding, and finally improving the organization's program. Social audit is the audit conducted by the beneficiaries. Beneficiaries are those individuals who have benefited from the policy or a program. In a village, every beneficiary is a member of Gram Sabha. So we can say that the audit is done by the member of Gram Sabha, as all the beneficiaries are the part of Gram Sabha. Now let us understand the second part, which is the social and ethical performance. We all know that social audit does not focus only on financial audit. It is much more than that. If it is not the finance, then what is there which has to be improved, or we can say scrutinized? We are trying to improve even the non tangible aspect, means social and ethical performance. The financial aspect is tangible aspect of the policy or program, but social and ethical aspect are beyond that. Now let us discuss with some example of social audit and ethical improvement. The impact on the weak, like the impact of any policy on a weaker section, or empowerment of weaker section, impact on women, impact on environment. And if we are going to compare through Manrega has an objective of guarantee of at least 100 days employment to the people belonging to the below poverty line, with a minimum compensation of rupees 100 per day in a year, and that too in approximately 30 to 40 kilometers of their village employment within that region. We can say that it is an employment guarantee program for the weaker section. This was the program's objective. Without understanding the provisions, we can understand this only. But if we look at the provision, then we will understand the impact of the program much better. The provision were like at least 30% of those employed must be women. By this, the impact would be that the women will start having disposable income. This leads to economic empowerment of the women. This may contribute to social empowerment of women. If we talk about the weaker section, then we can see that they may migrate from the rural to the urban area, as they are not getting employment in the villages. So in process of providing some kind of guarantee of having minimum employment, there can be a process of migration may happen. The urban areas are overpopulated by this. So a program like Manrega, which can instigate migration, can affect the urbanization also. We have implemented Manrega in 2005, and after 20 years we realized that it leads to overpopulation in the urban areas, which leads to social impact on the nature of urban development. Social audit is the audit of social aspects like impact on the weaker section, social impact on the growth of women, or the impact on the society complete. In a summary, we can say that the social audit is a process in which details of the resources, both financial and non-financial, used by the public agencies for the development initiatives, and is shared by the people through public platforms. It includes in-depth scrutiny of the analysis of working of a public entity with and with their social relevance. If it can be performed in the urban areas, but in India, social audit is not performed in urban areas because the policies for which the social audit is performed is for the rural areas, not for the urban areas. Now, social audit is quantitative as well as qualitative. Quantitative as financial aspect is included, and qualitative as the social and ethical aspect is also included. We can understand as we have discussed already. Now let us discuss about the origin of social audit. It focuses on the governmental organization, as by the name we have understood till now. As the private sector, the motto of the private sector is not social, as they are the profit oriented organization. But the term social audit originated in private organization, and even concept both emerged first in the private sector. It was originated in the year 1956. There was a scholar called Howard Bowen who wrote a book, Social Responsibility of a Businessman, and started informing every people that every business is having a social responsibility. They should be scrutinized for their impact on the society. He coined the term social audit. In India, this term was first used by Tata Group. They had a plant in Jharkhand named as Tata Steel. In the year 1970, they conducted the social audit for it to measure the social impact on the environment. They have understood that it has the negative impact on the environment. They started scrutinizing what kind of negative impact on environment and how they are doing, and now they started doing enough to address those impact. Their need to take some additional steps. They started planting trees and started creating reserve area also. These were the some steps done by the Tata Steel. They have taken some other steps also. This was not started by this year. It was started earlier in the 1950 and 60s. Was done by the civil society, but publicly it was first done by Tata Steel. But in public sector, reference to social audit started in the year 2005 when we enacted Manrega law. Before it, there were no statutory or no government steps where conduct the social audit. In the section number 17, it was mentioned we implement a policy, National Rural Livelihood Mission, started in the year 1990s. We extended the concept of social audit. In the state of Meghalaya in 2017, they came up with a law. They extended all the rural and development program. All these have to undergo the social audit. In a summary, we can say that the term social audit was proposed by Howard Bowen, and he wrote it in a book, Social Responsibility of the Businesswoman. In India, initiative of conducting social audit was taken up by Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited, located in Tata Nagar in the year 1979. Social audit was introduced in public sector through the enactment of the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005 to provide for transparency and accountability in the scheme. The law identifies social audit units as the organization to be established at the state level to facilitate the conduct of social audit by the Gram Sabha. In the year 2017, the state of Meghalaya passed the law, Meghalaya Community Participation and Public Service Social Audit Act, making it mandatory to conduct social audit to all the policies and programs implemented for the rural development. The Department of Social Justice and Empowerment has established as National Resource Cell for Social Audit to ensure a dedicated social audit units for the states. Now let us understand the next topic, and that is the need for the social audit. What is the need for the social audit? In one sentence, we can say that social audit will result in good governance. Social audit can act as the antidote to the problems of bureaucracy like transparency, responsiveness, and stakeholdership, etc. Now let us relate stakeholdership and social audit. What is a stakeholdership? Where whenever there is a decision does not affect the bureaucracy. In the term of bureaucracy, they were not the stakeholder, as they were not the beneficiary of their own decisions. And the social audit will come with as a reverse of the idea, because the questions are being asked by the beneficiaries. Now they cannot take decisions on the basis of administrative convenience. The bureaucrats now they are forced to take decisions accordingly to the beneficiaries. Like for Manrega, the beneficiary will ask for the compensation if they are not employed. They will ask about the quantitative aspect of the program. And other member who are not impacted but they are not exact the beneficiary, they are above the poverty line will ask about the assets that are created or the work done under the Manrega because they are going to be impacted by them. So they are going to ask about the qualitative questions. The problem of stakeholdership plus citizen relationship is redefined. Now the bureaucracy has to think as a stakeholder. Now by the social audit, will be a reduction in the corruption. Social audit, like any other forms of audit, focuses on the irregularities and malpractices and leakages of funds in the public sector. Therefore, it is going to reduce the corruption. Now, monitoring and feedback. Monitoring is keeping a track on the process of policies. Whenever we are making any policy, then we are having some goals. While implementing the policy, we come to know that there is a problem due to available of resources or any other reason can be. So there will be a intended objective that we have already set as a goal, and what we are achieving, there is a gap. So monitoring is going to identify the gap and therefore also take corrective measures or corrective actions. The social audit helps in monitoring of organizations' performance and therefore identify the gaps which can be used to take corrective actions. Now the next one is accountability and transparency. Transparency is giving necessary information. Social audit ensures accountability and transparency in the working of local government, which results into more legitimacy through the local government. To understand this, we have to understand a concept that is the social capital. Social capital is, as the name suggests, is not the tangible term. There are different groups in the society. These groups interact with each other, and so a trust is developed. This trust enjoyed by different groups in the society or a collective is known as social capital. In India, where we are having a great diversity, there is a lack of trust, which leads to impact on the social capital in the negative way because of the region, and many economic differences and many different reasons. Also, we are having this diversity. When people will be able to know about the policy, then the corruption will reduce. And whenever we are thinking about any politics, we are always thinking about the corruption also. So there is a lack of trust. But through the social audit, we got transparency and accountability. Then the trust increases, which leads to the increase of social capital. The participants will able to know about the decisions also. So they will be able to understand how the money is spent, why are the decisions are being taken, and there will be a trust among the policymaker and the beneficiary, and by this the accountability and transparency is achieved. Next is the participation and democracy. Social audit promotes participation of people in implementation of programs, and it also makes people more forthcoming for social development activities. It incentives more proactive roles of the citizens in the development process. It strengthens the Gram Sabha. Article 243 defines about the Gram Sabha. Every village must have a Gram Sabha, and its members are all those who are in the voting list of the village. The article number 243A tells about the Gram Sabha function, and it will be decided by the state legislature by a law decides. According to the constitution, Gram Sabha has to perform those functions as decided by the state legislature. This provision has resulted into most of the states delegating limited functions to the Gram Sabha. The section 17 of the Manrega empowers the Gram Sabha to conduct the social audit. Therefore, at least the conduct of social audit is an important function performed by the Gram Sabha. Now let's discuss about the issues and challenges with social audit. There is a lack of awareness and understanding. There is a lack of standardization. Absence of standardized procedure for the social audits leads to variations in methodologies and reporting. Social audit reports of suppliers are not published, and there is a lack of transparency, which allows poor quality audits to thrive unchecked under the radar. There is a lack of institutionalization. Now let us understand what is institutionalization. Institutionalization means permanency, to establish permanent mechanism in order to complete a task. Example given, the information sharing by the bureaucracy, RTI Act 2005, established a permanent provision through which anyone can get information, and information is provided within 30 days. It is mandatory for the concerned organization to provide that information. If it is rejected, then where to go and what are the mechanisms available, everything is also mentioned. There is a right to appeal also. If we compare RTI and our social audit, we can understand that social audit, there is a lack of the institutionalization. How to conduct, who are the stakeholders who are involved, timeline, and is also nothing is provided. There is no standardization. There is no institutionalization. No one can tell the consequences of social audit if it is not being conducted also. So the lack of institutionalization leads to administrative discretion, because now administration will decide how the social audit will be performed. It will lead to lack of accountability, lack of monitoring, and existence of irregularity, etc. By this, I am going to conclude my video for today. Thank you.